Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Chris Galabukas, and we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I greatly appreciate it. So, with all this talk about AI, I think we've forgotten a couple of other things that are interesting, if you ask me. Is that one of the things that we can do with AI is we can give devices and things and software autonomy. Now, I think autonomy is something a lot of people are afraid of because they're worried that these things will do something that human beings don't want them to do. But if you ask me, that's where we need to go next. I mean, a lot of times, I get tired of dealing with my digital assistants, my digital avatars, whatever these things are that are supposed to be helping me, because I'm always the one who has to initiate things. I'm always the one who has to say, Alexa, do this, or Siri, do that. I'm always the one who has to tell it, hey, this is what I need, this is what I want. These devices, these things, these software agents already know a lot about what I'm doing, where I'm going, where I am, what I'm going to be doing next, what I do at this time of day, what I do at that time of day. It already knows that on this day, at this time, I'm going to be in this place doing this thing. It already knows this stuff because it's mapped my patterns. You don't think Google and Apple and Amazon and all these companies know all about us? The data is already captured. Our patterns of movement are already there. It already knows where I am and where I am and how I travel from place to place. And if it doesn't know that, it can go to my calendar and get more information on that. So it already knows all of this stuff. But what are they doing with it? All they're doing with it is figuring out how to put more ads in front of me. So instead of figuring out how to put more ads in front of me, why not make my devices more intelligent? Why not give them more autonomy to suggest to me things that I might want to do at that time? Now, you've seen a little bit of that. Every now and then, sometimes, Alexa will show me the yellow light or the yellow ring and go, hey, there's a notification for you. I go in there and there's a, hey, by the way, did you know that blah, 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 or like you have to get a refill on this particular vitamin or whatever, or, you know, it's time to do this, it's time to do that. You got this thing in your cart, just wanted to remind you that it's there. If you ask me, that's not useful. That's not useful because it's self-serving. You just want to make another sale. You want to make another sale. That's great. You want to remind me to make another sale. Drip, drip, drip. You're going to drip me to death. Torture. Drip campaigns are torture. I mean, no wonder the way they call them drip campaigns. They're like water torture. But I digress. That's not autonomy. That is you guys going, hey, we need to make more money off this guy right now, so let's just send him a reminder that he needs to buy some more stuff. That doesn't help me. Well, maybe it'll help me if there's stuff I need, but it doesn't really help me. What we need is our devices and our software agents and all of these things that know all of these things about us already to autonomously suggest and or do stuff for us. I mean, I gave an example of this ages and ages and ages ago. So I'm picking up my son from school. Now, my son is in college now, so he doesn't need to be picked up from school anymore. But I was picking my son up from school. Google Maps knew exactly where I was because it knows that I pick up my son from school every day at that time. And it knows where the school is. It knows where I am. It knows where I'm going. It knows when I get there. It knows when I'm supposed to get there. It knows all of these things, right? So what if I hit traffic? If I hit traffic and I need to text my son, hey, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I'll be there, but I'll be 5 minutes late. What do I have to do? I have to pull over and text him or tell him I'm 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, or meet him at some other spot, whatever. I have to do this. I'm driving. the safest thing for me to do is to pull over and tell him what I'm going to do so that he knows what's happening. All of these services know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what's happening. Why can't it actually say, okay, Chris, you're driving to pick up your son. You want me to text him and tell him you're going to be 5 minutes late? I'll say, yes, please. And then it'll say, do you want me to text him every time we're in this same situation and we're going to be late? And I'll say, yes, please. So what'll happen is that the device will now know that every time I'm attempting to drive to the school to pick up my son and I'm running late, it will send him a text saying, hey, your dad is running late. Our devices know all of this stuff. They know what to do. They just don't do it. Why don't we give our devices more autonomy to do these kinds of things, or at least suggest doing them? And then when it's happening, like that little description I just mentioned to you, would put a rule into the system that would look at all these factors. And if all these factors lined up, it was this day, this time, this is where you are, this is how long it's going to take you to get from point A to point B, and it's a school day, blah, 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 all these things lined up, and bam, it would send a text automatically the next time these criteria lined up. This is what I mean by autonomy. We need our devices and our software agents and all of these other things to take the burden off our shoulders. I think the reason why we're not doing it is because so many people are deathly afraid that these things are going to go wrong. But what's wrong with a few of these things, just a little bit, taking a few burdens off our hands? Why can't we have them doing a little bit of this stuff? Instead of looking to see what ad they can shove in front of our faces next, use the data to help improve our lives. Add autonomy to these things to help remove the burden of being a human. Because there's plenty of things that we need to do as humans. We may not want to do them, but it would be great if technology could be autonomous enough to do these things for us, or at least help us do them. This is where I see things are going. If you want to build something that's interesting and helps people, then look at autonomy. How do we use AI to add autonomy to these devices that will actually help humans instead of serving better ads or getting them to scroll their phones more? That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.